On April 23rd, 1954, the NBA adopts the 24-second clock, which has now become a staple at all NBA games and has even made its way into college, FIBA, and high school basketball games. It has transformed the sport. And here's the history behind the shot clock today on Daily Sports History. Welcome to Daily Sports History. I'm Ethan Reese, your guide to a rapid deep dive into sports history every day. Most of us have never seen an NBA game without a shot clock, but you've probably seen the movie Hoosiers. At the very end of that movie, you see the Hickory basketball team hold onto the ball for a long time so they could get the last shot of the game. And this is how the NBA was played before 1954, including one of the lowest scoring NBA games of all time in the NBA Finals when the Fort Wayne Pistons were playing the Minneapolis Lakers, who were led by George Mikan, the NBA's first superstar big man. And so for the Pistons to slow him down, they held onto the ball as long as they could. And they only attempted 13 total shots in that game, despite winning with a score of 19-18, and only scored 3 points in the fourth quarter. This game was a big black eye for the NBA, as it was boring. Nothing happened. There wasn't anything to cheer for. It wasn't how the game was meant to be played, although it was part of the rules. But the NBA wasn't sure exactly how to change this until 1954, when the Syracuse Nationals, the owner, Danny Bassoon, and general manager, Leo Ferris, experimented with the 24-second clock during a scrimmage. And they saw during the scrimmage, it really increased scoring as you had a clock that you were trying to beat every time. And the reason they got to 24 was the owner, Danny, looked at games he really enjoyed playing where they scored lots of points. And the average team took about 60 shots that game, meaning roughly 120 shots per game. And he took the amount of seconds there was in 48 and divided that by 120. For you math heads, it was 2,880 seconds, which equals 48 minutes, divided by 120 shots, which gives us the magical number of 24 seconds. And Danny Basin took this to the NBA League meeting in 1954, where they all approved it. Now, at the beginning, everyone was nervous about this 24-second clock. They thought it would be impossible to run an offense in 24 seconds. But what many found out was 24 seconds is a lot longer than you think. Don't believe me? Just try to sit in silence for 24 seconds. You'd be surprised. We won't do that today, as that would be a long time for nothing to be said. And what they actually found out was that first season, players were actually shooting faster than 24. This allowed for a lot more points to be scored. The year before the shot clock, teams averaged 79 points a game. In the first year of the shot clock era, teams jumped up to 93 points a game. And by the fourth year of the shot clock era, in 1958, teams were averaging 107 points, almost a 40-point jump from before they had the shot clock. But this wasn't the only big increase. The thing that the NBA loved the most was this increased attendance by 40%, which really allowed the NBA to grow more than it ever had before. With the league president at the time, Maurice Poneloff, called the addition of the shot clock the most important event in the NBA, and it saved the league. It's amazing how one little change that didn't really change how things were played on the court, except for that you had to shoot faster, made such a difference in the NBA. Now, the original shot clock was a two-sided box with numbers being shown onto the court and behind the goal. But in 1995, they were able to introduce a four-sided cube and a three-sided triangle into arenas, giving even more people the view of the shot clock, making it more exciting on every play. But in 2010, there was an invention of a transparent shot clock, which the NBA adopted in 2014, as now there's a two-sided transparent shot clock. Now, the shot clock wasn't only for the NBA. College eventually introduced a shot clock in 1985, but at the time, it was a 45-second shot clock, which they eventually reduced down to 35 in 1993, and in 2015, they reduced it all the way down to 30 seconds, which it remains today. And high school has followed suit, although it's not mandated in every high school, as it can be a challenge to get the equipment to run, especially for some smaller high schools that have smaller populations. But there are many states that actually do require a shot clock, at least at certain levels of their competition. And many other sports have actually adopted a shot clock in their league as well, such as lacrosse, Australian rules football, water polo, bowling, tennis, poker, and most recently, Major League Baseball has instituted a pitching clock. The shot clock is said to have helped save the NBA. Maybe it'll just do the same for Major League Baseball with their pitching clock. We will have to see. But it's amazing how one little rule change can change the trajectory of a league. So we need to always remember that even the smallest thing we can do to better what we love can have huge implications. When the shot clock was first introduced, many didn't like it, and yet it changed the league forever and has now become a staple. But without this bold change, the league may have never reached the heights that it is today. So the smallest change you can make can have a big impact on everything you do. And if you want to have a big impact for us at Daily Sports History, please leave us a review or rating wherever you're listening. We'd always love to see those. Come back tomorrow for more Daily Sports History.